I'm going to show you the cheapest and most efficient ways to level up Arcana from level 1 to level 200. Now, this is going to be for after the crafting changes that happen in November, and hopefully this guide will be timeless, but we will see. All these things are subject to change in future patches as they change crafting or change item drops and so on and so forth type of stuff. Now, Arcana is going to be a little different than the other professions because in 1.1, they changed how Arcana works, where now a lot of the ingredients can be swapped out with other ingredients, especially in the health and mana potions, health focus, mana, and regen potions. So that changes a lot of stuff and makes it basically impossible for me to give you exact numbers on what you will need. Mainly, I can only give you like how much it would take, how many of these potions you would craft or something in level, but the main focus of this guide is going to be what potions are the most cost effective. And if you are someone who wants to farm them, I can tell you right now the best way to do it is just to farm every single alchemy ingredient that you ever see on the ground and just throw them together into random potions, because everything can be thrown into everything basically at this point is what it feels like. So every alchemy ingredient that you can find is going to be good. Now, I always focus on buying and selling the ingredients because it's always better, especially on a high pop server or medium pop server, it's always better to go farm something that makes good money and then to sell those and then buy cheap ingredients, especially in Arcana, because some of these Arcana ingredients on some servers are so cheap, it makes no sense to farm them yourself. You could literally farm iron ore and get more alchemy ingredients per hour than farming the alchemy ingredients, sort of. So anyway, let's take a look at what we can do. Before I get to the math, we're taking a quick glance. So to the best of my knowledge, all these weapons are not worth it. They fixed the thing where you could convert leather into metal by salvaging them, and with that being gone, none of these are really worth doing at all to the best of my knowledge. So it's really just going to go down to potions. Now, potions, there's a little bit of variance here, and there's some tips and tricks on how to get the best, but we're going to go into the math and take a look at it. But we're looking at resistance consumables, and then later on we're looking at some of these potions potentially. It just depends on one factor, which we'll get to after we look at the math. So let's look at some of the math. Now, before we get into this, I don't have an exact path for you, because if I tried to give you an exact path, on most servers, I would be misleading you, because the prices of Arcana materials vary so wildly, not only server to server, but day by day, you will see totally different prices. So you have to look every day for ingredients and then try to find what's cheap for that day. I'll show you how to do that after we go through the math. So for the math, though, it takes 5,692,025 XP to go from level 1 to level 200 for Arcana. So it's going to be 13,350 to go from level 1 to 50, 144,900 to go from 50 to 100, 959,175 to go from 100 to 150, and 4,574,600 to go from 150 to 200. So we start with resistance consumables. Now, if you are lucky, resistance consumables are going to be your cheapest path to go most of the way. And the reason for this is because, at least on my server where I was looking, the tier 2 protective reagents can be so cheap sometimes. Sometimes I see them for 1 penny each, 0.01. But I still put 0.05 just to give a better average, because you won't always see them that cheap. And again, this is one of these things where all this stuff varies so much, guys. That's why I'm going to give you some numbers based on what I'm seeing, but I could come in tomorrow and this could be 0.2. I could come another day and it would be 0.01. I mean, it just varies so much. And then for air water reagent, you can use rivercress stem and something, I forget what it was, but we'll go through the ingredients in the trading post in a second, but you can swap out alchemy ingredients. You don't have to use motes. This does not mean mote. This can be different ingredients that you see in the market. Anyway, so that was also insanely cheap on my server, at least when I did the math. I haven't checked this morning, which I'm recording this in the morning. We'll see. Anyway, it's 240 XP per coin, because it costs 0.15 with these numbers to craft one of these, and it gives 36 XP. That's 240 XP per coin. It'll take, if you were to do this, it would take 371 crafts to go from level 1 to level 50, which is about 55.5 coins of crafts if the prices were like this, in order to get all the way up to 50, which is pretty fast, pretty easy. Then we get to level 50 tinctures. Now, 50 tinctures, if the prices are like this, are insane. When I was looking, the tier 3 protective reagents were only 0.2. I could get a filler air or water reagent on average for 0.05, And then this again, the water, I just now realized I should point this out. I'm going to think about this. You can just grab the water yourself. If anyone who's tilted by looking at these numbers, I just threw this in because sometimes water is not even available on the market. I don't even know why. It was like 0.1 when I was looking, so I was like, let's just say water 0.05. Just why not? If you were going to buy it and you just bought it whatever it was when it was on the market and it wasn't filled up for 0.01 at the time or something, you know. But realistically, the water you could probably just cut out if you just pick it up yourself. So you can keep that in mind. Anyway, but assuming all that, it'd be 0.3 to make one of these. And that would be 420 XP per coin. This one I threw in because this one's actually the most efficient out of every single potion, basically. So I did some math for just everything here. And it was 1,150 crafts to go from 50 to 100, which is 345 coins of crafts. And then if somehow there's no chance you're getting 45,000 of each of these ingredients. That'll make the price go up, or you just do it over time. It's not practical. But if somehow you got a hold of them for these prices, it would take 45,000 crafts to go from, no, this is not 150, from 50 to 200. And that would be 13,000 coins to go from level 50 to 1. So basically 13,000 coins to go level 1 to level 200 if you could be this efficient. But that's not always practical. You can't necessarily get this many ingredients, so not exactly going to happen. Anyway, then there was at 62, you unlock a different version of the tinctures, which instead use any elemental reagent, which was just, I just threw it in just to throw it in. I didn't do any math on it or anything, but just at level 62, you can swap out any elemental reagent to go the rest of the way, which might save you some money depending on what you see in the market. But then we have the level 100 tinctures. They get 441 XP, and they use a tier 4 protective reagent. The prices when I was looking at 1.5, and as always like 0.1 for the reagent, the elemental one. Total cost on my server at the time when I did it, 1.75 coins, which is 252 XP per coin, which is 2,175 crafts to go from 100 to 150, which is about 3,806 coins worth of crafts. And then at level 112, you unlock the other ones where you can swap out any elemental, but at this point it starts using 2 elementals to do that. But again, it could save you money depending on the price of the air and water reagents. So that's an option, and it'd be about the same XP per coin roughly. And then we have the level 150 tinctures. So these are 1,236 XP. And so here's where we have some fall off just because the tier 5 protective reagents are like 7 a piece on average when I did this. They're just really expensive now because they're used for the topaz gypsum potions. So anyway, this was a 7.15 per craft, which is 172.86 XP per coin. Not that great compared to the ones above, but it does use less materials. And anyway, it was 3,701 crafts to go 150 to 200, which was 26,462 coins worth of crafts. And at 162, you unlock the using any elemental reagent, which again could save you money depending, but same kind of thing. Not that great. But then we have weapon coatings. Now, weapon coatings, once we got to this point, I stopped doing the this thing because it just, you get the idea of a rough idea of what you need, and they're all going to be somewhat similar or worse than those ones. So I just felt like it was just a waste of time and unnecessary to even go into that because there's just so much variance and all this. And I'll show you again in a minute when we get to the trading post part of this video. So the coatings, level 10, 36 XP. It was only 64 XP per coin. Absolutely terrible, mainly because of the oil. But once you get to level 60 coatings, it starts to get a lot better. 221 XP per coin because the oil starts to be such a smaller factor compared to the XP. And then once you hit 110 coatings, that's where we peak, I think it was. At 267 XP per coin is 2.2 per craft, 588 XP. So that's a decent, viable alternative to the other one if you see prices that make sense, but it's still going to rely on the elemental reagent and the price of these things, tier 4 offensive reagents. Then at 160, you need the tier 5 offensive reagent, which is extremely expensive on my server because of those topaz gypsum elixirs. And so that makes 9.7 per oh, sorry, I'm scrolled off. Whoops. You need the tier 5 reagent, 9.7 coins per craft, and it's 170 XP per coin. Not that great. Then we get down to potions, health, mana, that type of thing. And this one was really vague because there's just so much variance. And I wasn't going to go potion by potion because it would just be so much. It would take like 10 minutes, 20 minutes to get through it. So I kind of summarized them all, gave a rough estimate. So say the reagents may be like 0.1. You just need a medical reagent, or you need like a magical reagent, or whatever. Assuming you get one of those for 0.1, and then you can get hyssop for 0.4, I felt like was a fair price to say for hyssop on all this. it was 1.75 per craft, which was 25 XP per coin. At this bracket, there's just no way to make it economical unless you're buying the Alcahest for free somehow. Like, if you see Alcahest for free, then you could maybe do this. But even then, it's just comparable to the others. Might as well just do the others. The resistance consumables, I think it was. Well, the first one we went through. Then we have strong potions. And it starts to get better, but that hyssop is still such a crutch that we're only at 2.65 per craft, 63 XP per coin. Then we go to powerful, and it starts to get a lot better. The hyssop starts to be a much smaller factor. 3.55 per craft, 196 XP per coin. And then infused potions is where it's actually probably the best way to go, 150 to 200, depending. We'll get to one other factor here in a second. Better than all the other ones, though. It's 1,888 XP each. Each costs at these prices 6.85 coins, 275 XP per coin. But there's a catch. We may have an easier way, because sometimes, instead of making the Alcahest yourself, sometimes on some of the lower brackets, not this one's always expensive, but for the ones like the powerful or the strong, sometimes people will list the Alcahest for cheaper than it costs to make it. And when you see that, if you buy some of those, like 1,000 or 2,000 or something, then you can use that to supplement this part, and then suddenly this could be like, 600 XP per coin or something, because this cost is just cut out. So, actually, hold on, let me do some math. Okay, so I've seen before where it's just, I don't know why people don't know what they're doing. I've seen before where these were 0.3 for the final product, and then this number would be a little bit lower because you don't make the potion yourself. But the number would roughly be like somewhere around 900 XP per coin if you were buying the Alcahest, if you see it for cheaper than it costs to make. So that is one option to, I was trying to undo, but I can only undo one time on here. That is one option in order to make this much better once you get to these strong and powerful health potions. The common ones are never going to be worth it, but compared to resistance. But the strong and powerful could be a good way to go for a lot of this if you get good deals on the Alcahest. So that's it for all the math. I don't really have the same kind of math as the other videos because the way the Arcana is kind of like weird. But let's go look at the trading post so I can try to show you like the best ways to do this. So you're going to have to reference what you need, and when you know what you need, you go to this tab right here, and then you go to Potion Reagents. Now, you're going to look for what you're looking for. So, like, say you wanted an offensive reagent. You click Offensive Reagent, and we wanted Tier 2. Now, we can't just scroll. Once you get the more complicated ones, you're going to want to go here on the left and click, like, okay, Animal Eye, what's it worth? Okay, bow back. Starfish, what's it worth? Like, that's what you do for the higher level ones. For the lower level ones, though, they'll be, like, at the top of the thing. So you can see here, I can get Shock Bulb Stem, which is not only an air reagent, but also it is, what do you call it? Offensive reagent, Tier 2. So I can buy that for, on my server, 0.01. And then you go down until we get to, it's still 0. I literally buy thousands of it. It's crazy how much I can buy. And then you can even get the Tier 3 one, Shock Bulb Leaf, for 0.02. And then we get down to, where is it? Unless it got bought out. We got fire reagents right here for cheap. Death reagents. More fire reagents. But you look through here to try to find the ingredients you're looking for. And then here was a Tier 3 offensive reagent you could use. Fungal slime. And then, is there anything else in here? Now, the ones that got bought out, there were the earth. Was it earth spine stem? Oh, no, they were right there all along. I didn't even... Oh, no, the earth spine stem are protective reagents. So, you're looking for the earth and air or whatever. What's it? Earth and air? Whatever it is. You get the point what we're looking for here. So, you look through like this for things. Go back to this. Potion reagents. Magical reagents, for example. Making mana potions. All right, well, the mana... Now, here's where things are a little complicated. So, the mana, health, regen, and I think even the focus potions, if I remember right. Maybe not focus, but health and mana and maybe regen. They use a medical or a magical ingredient. And the thing is, though, all those can be swapped out for any. When you're making an infused health potion, you could use a Tier 2 or infused mana potion. You could use a Tier 2 magical reagent, and it'll let you do that for the health potion ones, health and mana potions. The protective and offensive potions, they don't. You have, that primary has to be the correct tier. But ever since the 1.1 update that changed crafting, you can swap out any level of ingredient for any level of ingredient for the primary in the health and mana. So you don't have to use a Tier 5 tier 5 magical or healing ingredient, whatever it's called, I've already forgot the name of the thing. We don't use a tier 5 magical for a tier 5 potion anymore. You can just use the lowest, whatever cheapest thing. So because of that, we can use any of these. Here's magical reagents all the way down to 0.03, 0.04. You can make infused mana with these even. And if we go back to medicinal, which are usually more expensive, we pay 0.2 for a medicinal. We can use this for any medicinal, all the way up to infused health potions or whatever. So we could expect a 0.2 cost, maybe 0.3 on average if we overbuy, because there's only a limited supply when you see them this cheap. For my server, this is going to be so different server to server. And if you're still on one of those low pop servers that got stranded, you're just going to have to farm stuff, man. Like, I don't know. It's going to be tough. I would think that the ones that use... I don't even know. I don't know. It's tough, man. You just got to go farm high-level stuff, the highest stuff to whatever you can craft if you're stuck where you have to farm. But anyway, the other one, though, was to look at Alkahest. So you can type in Alk. Here's the Alkahest. We got weak, which is not worth. And then we have common Alkahest, which is also not worth buying. Strong Alkahest, though. Look at this. Look at this. Strong Alkahest for this cheap when it costs over 3 coins to make it, I think. Or it was over 2 coins. It was 2.4 coins, I think. Even if it was 1.5 coins. You see you could cut corners here, and suddenly this potion that uses this would be your cheapest option if people sell these like this. And then we look at powerful Alkahest. Same thing. Powerful Alkahest costs like 3 something to make, I think, or 2.4 or 3.2. I can't remember which one. And these people are selling it for 1, and you can just buy it. So that can actually save you so much money leveling that you can actually make those the most efficient. Now, the infused usually are not worth it. Yeah, the infused are usually taking everything into account or more. So the infused aren't going to work. And as far as more, it's going to be buy orders probably is. Well, you might be able to squeeze in a buy order on some servers for these. But your best bet is going to be the powerful Alkahest, and then you could even try to buy it with buy orders or whatever. But if you could fill this for cheap to people who are just selling it, like not knowing what they're doing, then you could make those health potions or whatever with them, and it would save you an insane amount of money, making it the absolute best way to go from whatever the one's strong. I think strong starts at 50, or it starts at 100? No, it starts at 50, and then the powerful is at 100. So 50 all the way to 200. If you can get the Alkahest cheap enough, you could just do strong, powerful healing potions and mana potions, and that's the way to go for sure. Like that is it. Until people will see this video and the selling the price of these all go up, and everyone will be like, and there goes the market, whatever, like they always do when I make these videos. But that is the thing is to tell you guys. I could just keep it a secret, but that's not the point. The point is, guys, to cover out all my bases here. Just give you guys every bit of information that you need in order to get the best possible advantage to get this done. So that's pretty much everything. Unless you guys are in a really big hurry to get to Arcana 200, I would recommend patience. Checking the market and stocking up on materials, doing some crafts. Once you've bought out most of the stuff to where you're raising the price, just walk away, come back another day, just keep checking the prices. When you see things cheap, buy them all up, do some Arcana, and just get it done. That's the cheapest way to do it. If you do it like that, you can probably get to level 200 for less than 30,000 coins. And if you get good deals on Alkahest, you might be able to do it for less than 15,000 coins. That's how cheap it is to get Arcana up if you get lucky. If you try to rush it, though, you may end up spending as much as 50,000 coins, depending on how much you've raised the prices to. If you try to do it all in one sitting, there's just not enough on the market to do that usually, so you will end up raising prices and hurting yourself financially on it. But that's the rough estimate. It's going to be 15,000 to 50,000 coins in most cases to level Arcana if you buy everything. Now, if you gather everything, it's just, dude, everything can be used for everything. So just go farm everything and then make the resistance and the... well, really, your best bet is just to farm everything and make the resistance ones, because they just use water and the materials that you farmed. Otherwise, you make the ones where you get oil. So you go to Weaver's, farm a bunch of oil, or you can go over to Ebonscale, was it? Ebonscale Reach? Yeah, Ebonscale. And farm the hyssop there for the healing and the mana potions. So those are really the only options for farmers. I mean, it's a mess. I can't just be like, yeah, for sure, 100%, you farm Loamy Lodestone and you're done. Like, no, it's just literally grab everything, because everything is useful now, finally, like, for leveling. So, that's it, though. That is my best advice on how to level Arcana. This was everything I could think to explain about it. Hopefully I didn't miss something. It always seems like I missed 1 or 2 little details in all these. But with how vague this one is, I feel like it's impossible that I missed anything, because it was all assumed on anything else. But yeah, that is my Arcana guide. Hopefully this will withstand the test of time. Again, this is subject to change in the future due to patches, changing material drops, changing the crafting potentially someday again. Who knows? And if that happens, if I'm still around, I will make another video to make a new crafting guide. But until then, hopefully this will be a timeless video that will last forever, and you guys can always reference for whatever you want to level up Arcana. If you found this video helpful, though, consider subscribing to this channel. I post New World news, New World guides, New World stuff all the time, at least when I made this video. And yeah, if that sounds interesting, you definitely consider subscribing for more content like this and like the other stuff I just described. But now you know the most efficient, cheapest ways to level up Arcana from level 1 all the way to level 200 in New World.